Thank you all for your time. Welcome to Replenish. This is the atmosphere of discovery. Today's session will be on becoming. Today's session is on becoming. So I want us to begin focusing on who we are becoming, okay? Not staying who we were or even who we are at this very moment, but becoming who we should be. So our goals and our plans for the future, they need to start making sense to who we are becoming, not just who we are or who we were 5 years ago. Our goals for the future, our plans, whatever we are planning, it needs to make sense to who we are becoming, not who we were 10, 15 years ago. Okay. I want us to come to a place to be willing to explore and discover what we have suppressed, where we have opposed, and what we had restrained. Okay. How have you been creating your goals? What are your plans based on? Okay. When we make goals for ourselves, some of the time, our goals are based on what we see from other people, right? What looks attractive, what looks accepted in society. A lot of times, that's what our goals are based on, right? Very seldom do we look within ourselves to find what was lost or to find what hasn't been discovered yet. Most of the time when we plan our life, it's based on what we saw in a movie, what we saw from other people. Very seldom do we look within ourselves to find what it is that we need to become, right? So today, I want to challenge you to throw away everybody else's character, right? Throw away other people's goals for you, okay? Throw away those seemingly accepted lifestyles that appeal to you and everybody else. Okay? All of these things are outward appearances, right? What it seems to be when they are simply temporary or created lifestyles and personalities that attract other people to become self-made, right? You don't need to make yourself. Okay. You don't need to make yourself or remake what was already perfect in design. Okay. Anything created by self can be brought down by something else that is created. Right. And because what God creates will stand. No created thing, including people, can come against God and win. So you want to partner with God, right? We don't do anything by ourselves. We partner with God. When you partner with God, you are simply following his blueprint, right? You are following the plan that was written and made for you according to your purpose. Okay. And so if you have gotten off track, let's get back to the plan of becoming who you were created to be, establishing your true identity. Okay. So, what are you working on within yourself? I want you to think about that. Have you recognized the parts of you that were put there by your environment or your circumstances? Right? Are you dealing with the result of your poor decision? Or are you just expecting them to disappear on their own? Have you dealt with what you became that wasn't a part of God's plan? Right? Have you become what you felt instead of dealing with the feelings before it began to affect your character? Okay. How long have you been doing that? How long have you been becoming your feelings or becoming other people's opinion or becoming society's opinion? How long have you been becoming that instead of becoming who God created you to be? Okay. And so I want you to know that your goals is a mental map that your destiny travels on. Okay. It's not just something you make up. It's not just something you plan. Your goals is that mental map that your destiny travels on. So you cannot afford for it to be anybody else's map or anybody else's destiny. Okay. It must be the plan for you and the destiny assigned for you. Okay. So don't just meet your goals. Don't just get there to your goal and see it. Don't just meet your goal. Become your goal. Become the plan that was written out for you. Become who you were created to be. Okay? And to become something, you must first agree that it's possible. And a lot of times this is where we stop, right? In order to become something, you must first agree that it is possible, right? Some people are still stuck at, I'm not going to ever be that way. Or they're still stuck at, this will never happen for me, right? In order to become something, you must first agree that it is possible, okay? As long as you believe that you will never become it, it will never happen, okay? Not because it couldn't happen, it just means you wasn't willing to accept the possibility of it happening. You have missed out on a lot simply because of your stubbornness and your unwillingness to change just because you can't control the outcome, right? That stops a lot of us. If we can't control how it's going to happen, we don't want to do it. If we can't control how the people are going to feel, we don't want to do it, right? When the outcome is a mystery, you run, you avoid it. And we talked about avoidance last week, and hopefully we've all worked on those things that we've been avoiding, okay? Some of you have literally pronounced curses upon yourselves that have come out of your mouth, right? Because of the uncertainty. That opens you up for that, right? And when you have pronounced curses on yourself saying that will never happen to me, right? You don't believe the possibility of these things happening to you, right? When you do that, you're more susceptible to receiving curses pronounced on you by other people. When they said you won't, when they said you can't, you said, you're right, I can't and I won't. And you've been living like that, right? And if you don't believe me, ask yourself, are you doing what other people said you couldn't do? When your doctor tells you you have to live with a certain thing for the rest of your life, did you agree with him? Right? There are people in every situation that disagree, and their life is proof of what they agree with and what they disagree with, right? There are people that have these extreme circumstances where people have said, you will never make it out of this, you will never be okay, but they're okay, and they made it out, right? Because of what they agreed to. Okay, so your life proves what you believe, not hope for, actually believe. And if we talk about the matter of faith, some of you won't believe for yourself because you place more value in other people, right? Therefore, your faith is increased more for others than yourself because you place them in a place higher than you. When you start meaning more to you, when you start to see yourself how God sees you, then your faith for yourself will increase. Okay? So you must renounce your agreement to what you said and to what they said. Okay? And I'm talking about all of the they sayers in your life. I'm talking about mama, daddy, grandma, grandpa, auntie, uncle. Your teachers have pronounced curses over you. Some of your pastors, your husbands, your wives, your girlfriend, boyfriend, best friend, uh, even your enemies, right? Some of your enemies have cursed you and you've agreed with it. And a lot of times we have more faith in what the person who can't stand us has told us, right? We have more faith in what they said instead of what God has said about us. Why is that? Why can someone who you know cannot stand you can come and tell you that you will never do something and you believe them more than you believe what God told you to do? And we know that if he tells you to do something, he's going to back you, right? Why do we do that? So make the bold, scary decision to accept what is possible for you to become just what you were created to be. Make the decision that it's possible. It's possible for me to be what I dream about. Okay? Once you agree to the possibility, you must be willing to change your perspective, change your view of yourself in the world. When you allow your lenses to change, right, you begin to discover those hidden attributes and you begin to grow into the personality designed as a perfect fit for your purpose. Okay. If you've been wondering why you don't fit into a lot of circles, it's because you wasn't meant to. And we're steady trying to make it fit, right? Most of the time, it's circles that you tried to be comfortable in that carry a lower standard, right? So there isn't a higher expectation. Okay, no one will call you into where you're supposed to be when they are operating beneath themselves as well. So you're not going to fit. Okay, if everybody that you hang around never challenges you to be greater, they don't bring out or even see the greatness in you, then you will never see it either. Okay, and if you never see it, you'll never be it. Okay, you need to see who God wants you to become. When He starts revealing you to you, accept it. Okay, and then do the work to become it, right? We are partnering with God, with His design for us. Okay, and there are many things that you have yet to discover because you haven't gotten through the muddy parts yet. Okay, God will show you in your dreams who you are, and your spirit connects to it, right? So now you're afraid to dream because in your sleep, you don't have that filter. You don't have where you can say no, right? In your dream, you just have to be who you are. So when you are showing yourself in your dreams, you get scared because your spirit knows this is where I'm supposed to be. This is who I really am, right? And when you awake, you become a minimized version of your true self, right? If God shows you in front of a crowd, that means you have influence. That's where you're supposed to be. And that's what He's reminding you of, that there's something in you that must come forth. There's something in you that the world needs, okay? God also shows you by dropping thoughts and ideas into your imagination, okay? He used all the parts of you that He created, right? But you shut it down before you write it down. So those ideas and that creativity, that never takes root because it stays in the prison of your mind. Okay, your mind can become a prison. Okay, your mind is a tool. Your hands are a tool. Your feet are a tool. Okay, they are tools that are used to bring the authentic version of you into this current reality. Okay, your mind helps you to discover and pull out those creations that came from God's mind into your mind, right? Your hands write those ideas down, and then your hands go to work. Your feet, they take you where you were meant to be. They put you in front of the people created specifically for your next level. Okay, are you using your tools? Are you using them correctly? Are you allowing them to be misused or abused? I'm talking about your mind, your hands, your feet. Are you using them? Okay. Becoming is something that is actively happening. Becoming is something that is actively happening. It's not stuck or stagnant. Okay. It's not constantly waiting for tomorrow. If you keep waiting for tomorrow, the destiny dies. The great ideas die. The progress for humanity dies within you, right? If you're in the same situation, making the same bad decisions, you're not becoming anything. You're not working on anything. Okay, it's good to say I'm working on myself. That doesn't mean you're actually working on yourself. Okay, when you begin to do the work, you begin to change. Okay, and we have this phrase where we say, God is working on me, right? God is not through with me yet, right? His work is done. He's not working on you. You working on you. You're supposed to be working on you because He already outlined what you're supposed to do. Okay, His work was done when the doctor hit you on the bottom, right? You should say, I'm still working on me. Don't put it on God. Okay, God completes everything that He starts, which means it's already done. We just need to walk it out here in the earth. Okay, His plan has already been fulfilled because He operates from the realm of eternity. Right here on the earth, we are in the realm of temporary, right? We're trying to get to eternity, right? Some of us needs to say, I need to get rid of this pride. I need to get rid of this selfish ambition. I need to get rid of this ego, right? But we say, God is working on me. But really, you have an ego problem, right? If you wasn't full of yourself, if you wasn't full of what all these other people created you to be, you would obey God and let go of the things that He did not put in you. Okay? You will stop minimizing, denying, and hiding what He did put in you. Okay? And we actually live our lives thinking that we know better than God, right? We tell Him what we're not able to do when He tells us to do something, right? When He calls us, we tell Him everything that's wrong with us like He doesn't know. And we wonder why we keep getting thumped in life, because we're not becoming who He said we would be. That thing that's bothering you, had we been who He told us to be, it wouldn't have bothered us like that. Okay? When we are in that state, we will not fit. We will not fit with anybody else, with everything else. It will not fit. Okay? That's why there's this constant struggle to keep pressing and pushing to fit somewhere that you're not supposed to be. Okay? Stop trying to make yourself fit lower, trying to make yourself fit minimized, right? When you begin becoming your God created self, you start noticing the changes first in your emotions, right? You may begin to feel more stubborn and more rebellious because the old parts don't want to let go. You know, all the parts that were created to handle certain circumstances in life, to deal with certain people, they don't want to let go. They don't want to die. Okay. But you should recognize that it's not your rebellion and your anger. It belongs to the things that you're trying to get rid of. Okay. The people that you're letting go of, their anger isn't against you. It's against who you are becoming. Okay. Don't take it personal. They don't like that you are becoming authentic, right? Because they're battling with that themselves. They don't like the freedom. They don't like the way freedom looks on you because they themselves are bound. Okay? The location that you're in, even at your job, your church, the places that you hang out at, the environment and the community seems to become unbearable when you are changing. Okay, that is a sign that your agreement now with heaven is disrupting a pattern. Okay, you are breaking a cycle, sometimes generational cycles. Okay, the further back the generational hold is, the harder it is to fight, to break loose from those ancestral chains. For example, when you are breaking the cycle of poverty in your family, even your family will turn against you, right? They'll tell you, what's the number one thing they say? You think you better than us, right? Or they will borrow from you until you broke. You got to fight against it, okay? When you are breaking the cycle of incarceration, everybody and their mama come out of the woodworks trying to get you to break the law, any law, some sort of law. And I mean, every opportunity presents itself. Don't take it. You breaking cycles, okay? Breaking the cycle of drug and alcohol abuse. You get introduced to it super young so that you build up a tolerance. And before long, it's a part of you to the point where if you don't have it, your body begins to turn on itself, okay? Break it. Break the cycle. All of these tactics are used to prevent you from becoming the curse breaker, okay? And I want to say to you that things may seem so hard because you were created to break the cycle. You were created to break the curse, okay? And there are many more cycles you can probably think of and recognize in your family background where those before you and those around you could not break it. They failed to break it, right? So don't put it off on your kids to do it. You break it so that they don't have to, because we have things that we're going to deal with as we grow, as we get older, just because it's our decision, right? We don't need the extra stuff from before following us as well that we have to break off of us, okay? So becoming your authentic self involves breaking agreements and making new ones, okay? It involves discovering and utilizing the tools that are already attached to you in order to grow. So I want you to keep from being overwhelmed. That's something that is such a weapon to get you and knock you off of who you are supposed to be, right? Because your brain is a magnificent multifunctional computer that once you overwhelm it, it can begin to malfunction. We know that, okay? You must take care of your mind. Avoid unnecessary stress and unnecessary people, okay? Feed your mind good stuff, okay? It is a tool. You need your mind to get to your destination, right? To get to your purpose. Your hands are tools, okay? Stop sitting on them and put them to work. Start writing down ideas and plans. Release your imagination through your hands, okay? Your feet, get them out of the places that you don't belong, okay? And let them take you where the seat has your name on it, okay? It's already set up for you, waiting for you to get there, okay? There's so many places that you should have gone that are still waiting on you to get there, okay? You are a part of other people's vision, and they're waiting for you to get there, okay? If you are in a place that is opposite of the direction of your destiny, of the place you're trying to go, take one step in the right direction. Then take 2 steps. Don't take 3 steps, run, okay? If you can make it through the first step and make it through the second step, run. Just run towards your destiny, okay? And don't look back, because whatever direction you're looking, that's the direction you're going to go. If you looking at what everybody else is doing, you're going to start going that way. You're going to start going this way. If you looking at where you were, you're going to start going back to where you were, okay? So keep your eyes forward. Go in the direction of your destiny. You know, sometimes we think too long and too hard about easy decisions, right? We convince ourselves that an easy decision is now a hard decision, or we convince ourselves that we don't have no control over this decision, right? Go ahead and get the easy decisions out of the way. Stop avoiding them, okay? We talked about avoidance last week. Stop avoiding these easy decisions. Make them before you convince yourself that it's too hard, before you convince yourself that, oh, it's out of my control, okay? But then you have decisions that are complicated, that you need wise counsel for, okay? You need wisdom and knowledge and understanding. And those are not the ones that you decide to handle on your own, right? But we kind of flip it. We'll take care of them without wisdom, without knowledge. And then the easy ones we sit and we ponder on and we wait, okay? And so that's why people that influence you are important. The people in your circle, that's why they are important. If they are people with low standards, with no expectation, the wisdom that you need won't be there, okay? And in fact, the information that you get from them could be very detrimental to you, to your spiritual health, your mental health, even your physical health, okay? So be around people who embrace who you are becoming, okay? Who speak to you on the level that you should be, okay? Start changing your mind about how you see yourself. Because if you don't change your mind about how you see you, you won't have faith to do any of the things that you're supposed to do. Okay. So everything can line up, all the people can be in the right place, and you simply will not move. Okay. You are one decision away from taking that first step. And that first step is making it a possibility. So think it possible. All the things you've been saying, oh, that will never be me. You have to renounce that curse, because you have been saying that will never be me since you were 15, right? And now that's how your life has turned out. So you have to break up with that agreement and choose a new agreement that I will be what God has called me to be. Okay. And so I want to end with our statement. This feeling is temporary. It is just a process. Face your disappointments in yourself and in others. Don't avoid them. Face them. Say, hey, I felt sad. I felt disappointed. I felt defeated, right? Face your disappointments in yourself and in others. Some stuff is your fault. Take responsibility, okay? It was a bad decision, but you can make it better. You can change the outcome. Your life is more than the sum of your hard experiences. Your life is more than the sum of your pain. Your life is more than your failures. Okay? You can climb that mountain or you can command it to move. You will live again. Your happiness is not determined by what is happening now. It is determined by what will happen later. What are you going to do with these next moments? Okay? And what you do with this moment is imperative to you understanding why you needed to go through it, why it had to happen to you. And after that, you will see that it happened for you, because we know that all things work for our good. So thank you all for coming on today. Work on becoming God's created design. Okay. Everybody else's purposes for you is not what you want to try to be. You want to be what God has created you to be. Stop saying, I can't. God already know what you can't do. So if he told you to do it, he knows you can. Okay. It might be hard, right? But you can be who you see in your dreams. Everything that we talk about in these sessions, it is going to require action. This is not something that we can put on. Like I can't put it on my mom. I can't put it on my grandparents. These are things that we have control over, that we can actually do, right, to make our lives better. And a lot of times we don't know where to start. And so God has allowed me to be able to actually make it practical. And sometimes when you hear it, like the light bulb goes out, like, oh, okay, that's what I was doing, and this is what I need to do. And so we perish a lot of time for lack of knowledge. And so I just come on to share the knowledge of God, that we may not have heard before, or maybe we heard it but somebody said it in a way that had so much sugar on it that you just kept doing what you needed to do. But I am definitely in the business of seeing lives transformed truly, right? As a believer, and not seeing it halfway done, seeing us struggle mentally and emotionally in ways, and not receiving the help or the knowledge to overcome a lot of the things that we have been struggling with. And so that is my goal, to experience and have the freedom that Jesus has given us, right? Because he's a savior. And so a lot of times we look at all of these other things to save us. So we just completely knock him off the throne and look at other things to save us, when if we are believers, he is supposed to be our savior, and he will give you people and give you ways of doing that. But we have to be connected to him to know what those ways are. And for so long, I would do all of these things secretly, like behind the scenes. I would do like different lessons and teachings and stuff, and I would record them for me to go back and listen to, so I could get it. And then God literally told me, like, the things you're asking me about, the things you're saying this world needs, you have it on your phone and you're keeping it to yourself, when other people needs this knowledge. And so that was like a light bulb. I'm like, God, you got to do it. And he like, no, I put it in you. So you go spread the word, you go give the knowledge and the wisdom. And a lot of times we continue praying to God for something that he's put on the inside of us. So you might be asking God for peace, right? And he's giving you a supernatural amount of peace for someone else that is praying the same thing, and you have the answer, and you don't say what he's telling you to say to people. You won't go hug people when he tells you to hug them, because he put it in you to be his arms, to be his mouthpiece. And that's what we're here for. And so often we tell him no, and he's like, you were born with this. Like, this is your purpose. And we're just not doing it. And me, I was the one like, you're going to have to do it. Like, I'm, he's like, you have it on your phone and you're keeping it to yourself. And so I'm like, wow, like that was kind of heartbreaking. But I'm doing it now. It's not too late. I'm still breathing. So as long as you're still breathing, you can change things. You can undo some things. Okay. You can be who he created you to be. It's never too late, because if you're still here, there is still a purpose and a plan. And I want you all to definitely pay attention to your dreams. So often we can be hit with so many things in our waking life, what we see and what we hear. But those filters aren't there in your dream. So what you're dreaming a lot of times is God trying to remind you, hey, my son, my daughter, this is who you are. Like, I know what you feel like, and we got to be careful with becoming our feelings, right? I know what you feel like. I know you feel defeated, but you are a conqueror, And so deal with the feeling of it. Like, I feel this because, but don't let it become you, right? Because that may not be who you are. And so that's one of the things that Replenish is trying to do, getting you to discover who you are, discovering the master's plan. We can get so bombarded with the plans of everybody else. But what does he say? Right? And so that ends today's session. I pray that you all are blessed. Definitely take this for the next 7 days. Become who you were created to be. Don't apologize for it. It's not a mistake. He created you, and he created you fearfully and wonderfully. You are not a mistake. What he put in you needs to come out and to bless this world, to make it a better place. So may God bless you all, and have a great weekend.